Yeah, in case you're wondering why, there are people online that are more interested in trying to signal boost the Johnny Depp levels of spurious allegations about Razorfist than to talk about Neil Gaiman with all the far more lurid and far more detailed and far more factual sounding allegations against him from these women. But of course, because Neil Gaiman he has made himself far too important and profitable an asset to mainstream publishers that the only person consistently talking about Neil Gaiman being a serial sex criminal is John Delarose on his channel. Or so, yeah, here's a little taste. Like I said, with this Fandom Pulse article, Fandom Pulse being John Delarose's Substack, here is somehow in its entirety, he was able to upload the privated video of Razor reacting to and explaining away the allegations that Kino Casino and Smash JT are perpetuating with proof.
Indeed, for an admission of the fact that all of my girlfriends, including her, were very much of age. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to believe her.
I haven't leaked anything. I haven't mentioned anything. I haven't messaged anyone. I haven't,
But the word for that is blackmail, when you threaten to do it. And that was my entire point to begin with, this crap about me being a predator and a pedophile. How freaking dare you? My girlfriends have been my age or older.
I know.
But here's the hilarious part. It's all irrelevant. Not only did we prove that the entire timeline's impossible without a flux capacitor and plutonium, not only did the abuser in question admit to death threats and blackmail, not only did they admit they were of age while publicly lying that they were not, but by the grace of God, I had only just begun to return to my faith at the beginning of this relationship. And so, after multiple live-in girlfriends and physical...
How can you tell that this video was meant to be, a privately uploaded video to his channel? As Alpha Proto mentioned, wow, he is in color.
Relationships, I finally felt the conviction to actually wait until marriage. I have no defense. I'm simply a sinner. Oh, I intended to marry her, at least the person she was pretending to be, through a BPD technique known as mirroring, wherein they ask a lot of questions and they seem really curious and interested in your life, when in actuality, they're assembling a composite personality of all of your likes and dislikes, which they then project back at you like some kind of mirror mask. A BPD abuser has no personality or empathy of their own, and they exploit yours.
In case you're wondering why so many feminists defended and believed all of Amber Heard's lies,
the victim of said manipulation is left to think they won the jackpot, at least initially.
Go back to that description of Johnny Depp on the witness stand during the trial about what his reaction to Amber when he was first meeting her on the set of The Rum Diary, I think is that movie.
In my case, I thought I had a traditional Christian wife willing to wait until marriage, and then a month in, the mask started to slip and she became openly abusive, both emotionally and physically. And so, for all the allegations of grooming and gooning, for all the dimwits and dipshits typing the words, "he slept with a child" in their thumbnails, not only was she of age by her own admission, I never proposed marriage, and thus we never slept together. But once again, I do not want you to take my word for it. Instead, I want you to do exactly what you've already been doing. I want you to take her word for it without any proof or research of your own of any kind.
It's also kind of stupid for a crazy bitch like this to pick a spurious allegations fight with a guy who got a huge boost in his audience from deconstructing the lies about Michael Jackson. Even people that can't stand Razor for his politics or whatever probably would have a long, strong agreement with him about Michael Jackson being one, and all those years of allegations being complete horseshit. In an industry like the entertainment industry that will swallow cyanide to avoid admitting that Bill Clinton went to Epstein's Island.
If anybody were to come up to ask me and say, "Hey, how's Razor? How's living with Razor?" "Oh, he's a lying piece of shit."
Except that's not true.
"Are you still a virgin?" "Yeah, I'm still a virgin." "Oh, but I thought you lived with your boyfriend." "Yep, still a virgin."
Weirdest groomer ever. A relationship that requires a time-traveling DeLorean to actually occur, culminating in no sex whatsoever because we were both waiting until marriage. Saucy stuff, folks. I can see why you'd want to torpedo your entire YouTube career, attaching your credibility to it. But what about the most salacious allegation of all? The ones Blandy Worski and the Diabetosaurus next to him were shaking their talentless tits about for 20 minutes at a stretch.
Oh, buddy, ew.
Blissfully unaware it was the prologue to the end of their YouTube career. A decade-old, long discredited screenshot from a porn website that no longer exists, featuring incorrect doxing information that's grainier than the Zapruder footage.
And yeah, this is the part where, like I was saying yesterday on that stream that's now been private because all my Sunday streams are made to members only after they're done, that, yeah, the only thing I do regret about that video where I shit-talking Ethan Van Sciver for joining in on the anti-Razorfist shit was, oh, wait, me, not having seen this video before recording that and mentioning the one thing we do know for sure being that video of Razorfist masturbating that was uploaded. Turns out, actually, no. And here, yeah, you just saw the beginning of him explaining how, yeah, that, disproven video of him supposedly whacking it on camera with his face in frame. Turns out, no.
By all means. Let's dive into that. Because while you world-smashing web sleuths were spending all of 5 seconds repeating lies on an e-drama website whose own page includes a disclaimer that it is, quote, an online humor and satire source, and thus that you shouldn't take anything said therein even the slightest bit seriously, I did some digging of my own, and I didn't have to dig far. You see, the allegation is these videos are not only of me, but the proof is that I uploaded them myself. Now, as an author, I would say I have a fairly distinct authorial voice, marked by bizarre Victorian nomenclature interspersed with the odd peppering of profanity. So in doing some research, I discovered that the video in question was actually uploaded more than once by the same original user on that porn website. And in examining the description of said video, I would imagine my unique grammatical style would be impossible to camouflage. So let's dig in. The first video, entitled Denky Face / Carrot Head, self-deprecating sort that I am, goes on to say, quote, I am that coward, capital C, who have nothing to do just to sit at my cam and review stupid games, capital G. This is the video of my jerking off, capitalized all. Oh, but now here's a curious cultural artifact for any actual Americans out there, because what follows is a phone number that's not only incorrect, but written not in the American, but the international phone number format, meaning with a plus sign, followed by a country code of 1 for America, followed by an unspaced, unhyphenated phone number thereafter, as we in the hinterland of Arizona are so inclined to do.
Yeah, that's kind of goes and, pops up a few refutation of some horseshit over the years. Even though, as we keep seeing the details that he's brought in, applying the same facts and logic and showing receipts that he brought to proving Michael Jackson never touched kids and that The Witcher is a piece of plagiarism, he's now bringing to defending his own damn dignity, which is a lot more than, what a guy like my father would do, who was such a brooding, whiny egomaniac that, he would just go, and the more and more you would try to go and say shit about him, the more he'll just go and bitch and moan while never getting off his couch and acting like, oh, the world is beneath him, while also, talking about how everybody that says anything about him is lying.
Of course, I remember this video.
But then again, remember, my dad was the guy who indirectly was taking the side of Amber Heard during the trial by trying to say, oh, but Johnny Depp has flaws as a person, or, oh, that doesn't mean he's not shitty. Because Amber Heard fulfills the Hollywood batshit crazy beauty standards you boomer hef worshippers want to fuck, that means somehow she's innocent because siding with her directly or not means that she'll sleep with you. Eat 9 more meals a day and scream at 3 more women that don't agree with your politics, asshole.
Video even better than that, because back in April of 2011, the self-same barely literate troll uploaded this false video to YouTube and linked it to my fans. See, back then, YouTube listed each and every one of your subscribers on your page publicly. So said troll was able to scroll down the list and DM it to them at whim. Some of you rageaholics may still remember this. And so in April of 2011, I shut my channel down only briefly in order to protect my own fans from being spammed by this spurg, as there was no other way to hide my public subscribers. If you're wondering, by the way, why my channel was founded in May of 2009, but none of my videos date to before April of 2011, mystery solved. I had to re-upload them all. Mind you, the video was promptly removed, but the account was still up long enough that I did nab a screenshot of some of the reactions at the time. And it's in combing over the account in question that we see more sterling examples of my writing style. Quote,
And yeah, I remember like years ago there being a video we uploaded where he talks about a hacking situation he had. That's why he temporarily closed down his channel for a bit, and why the channel started in 2009, but none of the uploads date to before 2011.
yeah, I do believe you cracked the case of my illicit gay porn career, Columbo. You should roll with this narrative without doing any research whatsoever because you're cranky about a tweet. In fact, you should...
The tweet in question is mentioning something about, I think it was Smash JT got angry at Razor for taking the side of Melanie Mac, being against some video game whose title I can't remember immediately, that was, you know, too sexy for her to say, and saying, I don't want it all to be her saying, I don't want gaming to be obsessed with gooning or something like that.
Attach the final remaining micrograms of credibility you still possess on your person to push in this piss-poor nonsense and accomplish precisely nothing in the process but utterly embarrassing yourself being caught, once again, lying about strangers on the internet. But we expect laziness and libel from these cum-burping bitches. No one whatsoever surprised when Glandy Warski peers out from the coke cloud, flanked by an anonymous autistic asteroid who, if chins were brains, would rule the fucking world, pauses momentarily to comb an e-drama website that openly admits to lying its dick off from dawn to damn dusk, all to tank the remaining relevance of the Diabeto Casino. And as for Gash JT, the fart huff and hack who honestly confuses himself with an independent journalist, such that he's still spurging about stolen scoops that, if his character in this instance is any indication, he likely stole from someone else. Also, he could slap white text on a wildly original thumbnail and express socially acceptable opinions on the 8 entire members of his imbecilic audience. Ah, well, what you lack in talent, you make up for in chromosomes. Look at the bright side, bud. I've ended bigger careers of infinitely more talented individuals in a 5-minute rant. You only took me 30 seconds. Walk it off, asshole. I hear they're hiring at IKEA. And the receipts you've heard today are only the tip of the shite.
Now, there's an earlier part in here where he explicitly goes into how the woman accusing him actually did attempt to murder him, and then also threatened to murder his old roommate, his dog, and his father. But that's earlier in the video. I'll be scrolling back to that. So what Razor is saying is true, and he's not a liar, then yeah, this crazy bitch also attempted to murder him, and also the woman is a gun owner as well.
Okay, nice. Another threat. Very nice.
I'm just telling you the cold hard facts. I am aware of a bunch of shit that'll hurt your feelings. So, what the fuck?
I wasn't fucking attacking you, Razor. I was hitting you. I didn't lay you the fuck out.
What do I need social media for if I want to hurt your feelings and make you hurt?
So that's wow. So we're up to threat number 3. I guess 6.
That's
If,
not a threat.
4, 5, 5 if we count the I will slit your throat or shoot you.
Yeah, because you were talking to me condescending, and I don't like that.
I was not trying to condescend. I was trying to get off the phone and calm things down.
What part you didn't understand? Like, I want you to deactivate your Twitter. You're not allowed to stream this week, and that's going to be the deal. Otherwise,
What?
you can hang up and we'll never...
Correct, RJ. Absolutely correct. Well, she seems nice, brother. Yes, no, I would agree with that one. And well, Weatherman brings up Johnny D was too forgiving, and Amber took advantage of that and made Mr. Depp's life miserable. Correct.
We'll talk again, okay?
What?
I'm making you a deal.
Took a turn, didn't it? What you've just heard was an admission to and justification of a murder threat, one that my ex, as a gun owner, actually possessed the means to carry out, might I add. On one occasion, she threatened to murder my wheelchair-bound father, my former roommate, who you all knew as Mormagil, and she...
I'll kill you and everyone you love. You did everything wrong. You need to be more interesting and engage with me in good, all caps conversation. Really, you entitled lunatic bitch?
He even threatened to shoot and kill the dog we picked out together, Cicero. Now, that might seem extreme, unless, of course, you've heard names like Jodi Arias or Amber Heard, because I learned
And now, you hear those names? Oh, yeah.
after ending the relationship following an actual murder attempt that my ex had
Want to repeat that? The actual murder attempt? Yeah, after your girlfriend attempts to murder you, maybe, yeah, you should break off the relationship.
been diagnosed with BPD and HPD. And if that
Yes, histrionic personality disorder and bipolar personality disorder. Now here is the ultimate caveat, an ultimate punctuation to a girlfriend with those diseases.
sounds at all familiar, it's because it's the same cocktail of mental illnesses that Amber Heard has. At which point I studied the condition at length, chiefly with a book called Stop Walking on Eggshells, the introduction for which says in so many words, run! And after she attempted to make good on her threat to murder me,
I cheated on you 4 times. Well, no, considering Amber met Johnny on the set of The Rum Diary in a movie where she's a married woman and then gets abducted and raped by a succession of Puerto Rican dudes she was trying to dirty dance with in public. Yeah, you know, life imitating art.
having already threatened to invent a panoply of lies about me to embarrass me in public, as you just heard her admit to over a phone call, I finally resolved to do exactly that. But even after finally extricating myself from this emotionally and physically abusive relationship, the threats of blackmail intensified and finally escalated to action. If you watch the Johnny Depp trial, you have some faint notion of what I dealt with for over a year. False accusations, which the accuser actually bragged about inventing and spreading.
I dare you to make any move on social media. Every tweet you make. This sounds like a histrionic sociopath's parody of that Sting song. Every tweet you make, every post on Instagram, every live stream, every video, every Facebook status will be met with a story about you and screenshots to add. And they are good stories about the things you've done.
Privately leaked recordings, absent context of any kind, where she suddenly puts on a Little Bo Peep voice and pretends she didn't initiate an argument entirely, often with preceding physical abuse.
Remember what I was saying earlier, even when I was still buying the Kino Casino and Smash JT bullshit about that leaked video upload where it was Razor threatening his girlfriend for refusing to quit a job? Yeah, and him going, no! Well, yeah, remember what I said about how, well, even there in that context, still, as we knew from the Amber Heard situation, from the TMZ employee who on the witness stand in the Depp trial admitted that that footage of Depp getting all angry was doctored. Yeah. Turns out it was the same shit, different day with Razor's ex-girlfriend and that clip that she put out there. It's also interesting his use of felt it in that because the Kino Casino guys don't have any talent or brains, so they have to go and keep on acting like they're clever or creative or important by perpetuating the phrase felted that was originally originated in poker. But they have to go and use it every other fucking sentence in their streams. They got to have neon signs behind them saying felt it over and over again. In their clips channels, they got to go and put that over and over again because, well, that's about as much creativity or vocabulary as they're capable of doing in between fits of binge eating or cocaine snorting. But did this girl shit in Razor's bed? I don't think so. Although there might be the chance that she may have scissored Cara Delevingne while Elon Musk watched and jerked off. And hello to Max Relax in the channel right there. Hello to Max Relax right there. Yes, yes, yes. And of course, you know, Amber did have a side piece, yes, Cara Delevingne, which was half Amber's age. And I'd like to remind you, after that detailed affair that became a detail in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, And well, Max, this was just something I wanted to bring up because I brought it up last night, but didn't show the video of Razorfist doing a video, as a private thing on his channel, refuting the horseshit groomer allegations that Smash JT and Kino's Casino have been pumping up. And then I admit to being guilty of believing, but only talking about in passing here and there on some streams. And well, if you want to thank me for, if you want to thank anybody for keeping me from doing, hot-headed video where I just took the spurious allegations at face value before listening to the other side of the story where the accused actually explains how they're innocent, like with Johnny Depp, well, then you can thank Nick for that. He was the one who said, yeah, maybe don't do that video. And then I decided no, and well, yeah. Actually reading through this, and well, Razor, just like he did with proving The Witcher is a work of plagiarism and that the Michael Jackson allegations are all lies, it turns out also the groomer allegations about Razorfist are all just made up shit from a vindictive, histrionic, and bipolar ex-girlfriend. And well, now with how long it is, that's really what I wanted to show you. Those are the major details, especially with the vindictive, histrionic, and bipolar ex-girlfriend trying to destroy a guy's life. Well, I know at least a good portion of my viewing audience, whether watching live or watching later, would definitely get some flashbacks to watching the daily That Umbrella Guy coverage of what Johnny and Amber were doing in the courtroom. And as Max Relax simply says, figures, but believe all women, LOL.